Last week, at a location approximately 2 miles east of the interchange of I-10 and the Florence Boulevard, there was a groundbreaking for the Phoenix Mart, a 1.7 million square foot facility.
Today we're going to introduce you to Phoenix Mart, the first permanent multi-industry sourcing center in the United States. Phoenix Mart is a 2 million square foot product sourcing center where nearly 2,000 manufacturers and distributors showcase their products to buyers from the U.S. and around the world. In addition to Phoenix Mart, this 585-acre project will include hotel, retail, office, medical, industrial, multifamily, and single-family development. And the proposed Interstate 11, the NAFTA freeway, will one day connect Mexico through Casa Grande and Las Vegas to Canada. In addition, Phoenix Mart will host regular conventions, trade shows, and informative programs with a specific theme tailored to a variety of industries including fashion, food and beverage, home and hotel, auto, sports, education, technology, and more.
The world is becoming more and more global, and it's becoming smaller, and it's harder to find product, and it's harder to find it the way that we typically find it here in the U.S. So there are models of sourcing centers that have developed throughout the world, and we have gone after some of those and evaluated them and sort of used those business models and implemented them into our project. So we took those components that we see in these market centers, what we see in projects like Iwu and Dragon Mart, and what we really did was we created an integration exercise. So we have this entire master plan, total of 585 acres. The main building itself, which is what you see in the middle, 1.7 million square feet. There's an additional 4 million square feet of commercial space.
So why the Sun Corridor? And we all know this. Top 10 economic growth, job creation, highest population growth kind of numbers, real estate market. It's this last one, though, that we forget about a lot when we're talking about ourselves as the Sun Corridor, which is the business operations. And we talk about that a lot at ACA as we're now starting to catch companies coming over from California, is that we are just a much more business-friendly jurisdiction than a lot of other states, particularly that big jurisdiction to the west. If you look now at the Sun Corridor and you look at what's going to locate there, but if you look at where the projected population growth and your projected job growth in those areas, this is truly in the heart of that. So NAFTA freeway, Union Pacific double track, the I-8, I-10 corridor, the international inland port discussions that's been going on, and the like. To have a permanent trade show space, to have a permanent suite where you can showcase your product to almost 500,000 buyers from around the country, around the world, starting at something like 20 grand a year. It's an amazing economic model, and that's what got me excited about it. It's not a big number for somebody to get a space in this building. And as Jeremy's sales and leasing and marketing people are starting to get out and talk to people around the country, they go, really? I can get, for that kind of number, I can get a space in this building? That's what gets them excited about it.
I'm going to start with the good news on the home building market is our closing volumes are starting to come back to what we would expect a little bit. We've seen a 25% increase through the year-to-date numbers, end of October. We're at 1,540 closings year-to-date, and that is up 25% from the 2012 number. Also good news is this pricing stabilization is finally occurring. We're seeing the foreclosures are dropping. Last few months we've seen foreclosures fall to about 19 to 20%, which is big. Falling below 20% was a big number of the total resale volume. And that has allowed some pricing stabilization to occur in both the new and resale market. New home median price is around $237, $240. We're seeing it hover there and stay there. And average right around $260 is about where we could. And those are sustainable, good numbers. That's kind of where we want to be. On the not so good news, which you're not going to like the permitting numbers as well, we're up about 10% year over year on permitting. So our permitting year to date is at 1935, and We've seen a huge slowdown in the last few months.
So about a year ago, it was time to really start developing lots. So really it was some projects that were platted, maybe partially finished lots that were worked on. And now today we're actually seeing projects that are being built from the ground up, which is, that hasn't happened. Kind of a barometer might be our company activity in the development management side. 2 years ago we had maybe 2 or 3 projects that we were actively involved in. Today we're about 18, which that's great. The big difference being before the downturn, most projects that you'd get involved in would be 100 lots, 150 lots, 200 lots, big projects. Today, you're doing, it sounds like a big number, but you're doing, maybe a 50 lot subdivision would be large. 25 might be the norm. Plat them, get them ready, but you don't build that many, mainly because of what Ginger said on the demand side. It's not quite there yet. Kind of the difference between the Northwest and the Southeast is price. Where in the Southeast, you're seeing finished lot prices in that, $30,000, close to $40,000 range. In the Northwest, you're looking at prices that are almost pre-downturn, approaching $50,000 a lot, and in some cases more than that. So all in all, there's activity. It's nice to be able to talk about activity. I am concerned about the job growth and the population growth of the area, and I'd love to see us get back to that 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 permits a year. Unfortunately, I don't see it coming in the near future.
There's a lot of activity right now, but not a lot getting done. I think people are still nervous about what's going to happen in the market, what's going to happen nationally, local, whatever. The rental rate, if you take buildings, and this is including the larger buildings, smaller buildings, Williams Center, all these, you're going to see that the average rate of the deals being done is about $16.50 a square foot, full service. If you take, and that includes improvements. I think in time, it's going to take us a couple of years. It's going to get better gradually, but I think it will. I still think positively about Tucson. Most of the figures that Michael had quoted you are strictly in Tucson. I generally don't work anywhere else.
Get through the basics. This is some third quarter data per CoStar. Vacancy was about 10.8%. I think that's down from 11.3% last quarter and compares to a national average of about 8.3%. Quoted rental rates were about $6.27 net annually. About 220,000 square feet of absorption in the third quarter, compared to about 500,000 year to date so far. The chart here they made from rental rates quoted from 93 to 2013, so 20 years of growth there. $4 to about $6.30. On the right, hopefully those colors are clear on the screen, that bottom line is the same graph as on the left. The top line was the same data normalized for CPI adjustments. So you'll notice that rental rates, when normalized, haven't gone anywhere in 20 years if you take a snapshot of 93 to 2013. Take away future predictions. Again, your buying power hasn't really come anywhere in 20 years. We still have a 2-year supply of excess inventory before we see a normal market in Tucson. The absorption has been focused in the warehouse sector, and I think it's going to continue that way, tied to the jobs, because jobs are starting to recover, but they're continuing to be low-paying jobs. Until Tucson does a better job of eliminating the brain drain and we keep college grads and can attract a qualified workforce, I don't see that changing, so it's probably a mid to long-term trend. And then my prediction, $7 net rents will happen before 2016, hopefully. And then my last bold big prediction is U of A goes to Final Four this year.